Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. Hi. Hi, Ken.
Hello. How are you?
Finally. I'm great. What about you?
I'm very well indeed. Thank you very much. I'm just in from work, working late tonight.
Oh, you must be tired.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Only a half day, maybe start about 3 p.m. So only about 6 hours. Not too bad.
I see. But
Yeah.
please introduce yourself for my
Okay.
followers.
Okay. Well, hello everyone, if you can see me there. My name's Ken, and I'm from Scotland in the United Kingdom. A little bit different accent from England, from an English accent.
I
And
love
at
it.
the moment, can you understand? Yeah.
Yes, yes, I do.
And at the moment, I'm out in Thailand. I've been out here for about 10 years, and I'm teaching English to university graduates who are looking to work in the aviation industry as cabin crew or pilots, etc. So for the airlines around the world, So I've been doing that for
Yeah,
a
that's
few years.
awesome and so interesting, I think. And you
It's,
speak many languages, right?
well, I moved to Portugal in 2003 without actually knowing where Portugal was. I kind of closed my eyes and put a pin in the map, and I went to Portugal, and I thought, where is Portugal? I don't know anything about it, and I was crazy.
Yes.
So eventually I found out where I was. So I went to Portugal and spent about two and a half years in there. And I didn't know anything about the language at all, nothing at all. And I got there with my suitcases and my dog and nothing else, So it was an adventure,
You are a wanderer, I think.
it was my start of my travels, I think, Emma,
Yeah.
And so when I got there, I thought the language sounded really strange. It sounded like German a little bit with the accent.
Portuguese? Wow.
Yeah, it's all sort of shush, shush, shush kind of accent, And so I taught, so I actually taught myself Portuguese. I lived in the Algarve. I don't know if do you know the Algarve, Emma? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the south of Portugal, and it's a very, very tourist area. So there's a lot of English spoken. And so I got there and I didn't know anything. So I started, I said to myself, when I go to Portugal, I won't have a television, I won't have a car, I won't have a mobile phone. And I stuck to that for about 6. Yeah, I just wanted a different life, It was quite exciting.
Wow.
And so
I don't know.
I thought, I knew English is widely spoken there, so it was quite easy at first. But I thought, I really want to know the language. So I started watching television. It was an American series called, what was it? 3 Men and a Baby. I don't know if you know that at all.
Yeah.
And I never watched television, but I watched it and I started learning Portuguese from the subtitles. It would be in English and I started reading it. So I started picking up phrases and words that were appearing over and over. And after a while, I mean, I'm not fluent at all and I haven't spoke Portuguese for goodness. I left there 2005, 2006. So I've not really spoken Portuguese since then, but I could have conversations, basic conversations in Portuguese. And then I moved to Spain. I bought a car, a really cheap car, about 500 euros, really cheap.
Wow.
And I drove, right, let's go to Spain. So I got my dog in the car and then I drove to Spain. It was about 6 hours, but the 6 hours turned into 10 hours because I didn't really know where I was going, I ended up on the top of this mountain, seeing the stars.
Just like that, without a certain destination, just like that.
I knew that I wanted to go to the south of Spain, because again, to Andalusia, because I knew that English was spoken widely there, and I knew there'd be kind of job opportunities, I think. So so I jumped in the car. Oh, it was
It
terrible. The
was like
car
blindfolded. Wow.
yeah.
It's amazing. Okay.
It was
That's
really
really
good.
interesting. Please go on.
So I got to Spain, and I thought, actually, when I was in Portugal, I knew a little bit of Spanish, not much, but one of my friends spoke Spanish, and he started speaking to my landlady in Spanish because the languages are very similar, you know.
Yes,
And the
and the same
landlady
family. Yeah.
from the same family. I didn't know actually Romanian when I lived in Romania. Well, I worked in Romania for a while in Bucharest, and I didn't realize Romanian language is from the Latin language as well. So it was
Yes.
very, very similar. You know,
Yes.
I was living in Bulgaria at the time, and I used to drive at the weekends over to Bucharest. You know, 10-hour journey. It was. Oh God, so
You didn't tell me that you are here.
I should have, right? I should have.
To show you around.
One thing I remember about Bucharest, I was only there a short while, but what I remember is the streets. They were so wide. You know, the roads in Bucharest, capital city, are so wide. You know, coming from small places like Andalusia in Spain and in Scotland, everything's very, very small. You know, but these places were gigantic. You know,
Well, it's the
like
capital. Yeah, we have boulevards.
yeah. It was like 20 minutes to cross the road, you know, it was so big. So I lived in Spain, and I thought, okay, I'll learn Spanish because I know a little bit of Portuguese. But my goodness, do you speak Spanish at all, Emma, no?
I understand a lot, but no. I've never
Yeah,
studied, but I understand a lot, even in Italian, Spanish, Portuguese. I understand a lot.
it's from the same family, isn't it? So
Yes. Yes.
it's very similar. So I was in Spain, and I thought I'll learn the language, and then I put on the television, and my goodness, it was just like one word.
Yeah, they speak really fast.
Unbelievably fast. Wow, how could anyone understand, you know?
Italians
So,
too, believe me, and they are so talkative. Well, yeah.
absolutely. Well, I lived in Italy for about a year in the south of Italy, and I thought my Portuguese, my Spanish will help. But when I got there, my goodness, the accent just totally threw me. You know, it's so up and down.
Yes, yes. That's such an experience, believe me. I envy
Yeah.
you, really.
So I was learning I was learning the basic Spanish, and then I got to a point where I didn't understand anything anymore. And one of my Spanish friends said we were talking about languages, and they said something about the perfect tense in English, and I thought, what's the perfect tense in English? I had no idea. You know, at school we don't learn anything about grammar. You know, maybe it was so long ago that I don't remember, but I don't. I didn't understand. So I had to learn the perfect tense. I had to learn all the tenses, and this is when I started taking an interest in actually the English language itself. You know, and once I understood English a lot more, then Spanish became a lot easier to understand. You know. But I haven't spoke Spanish since, goodness, 2000. I spent about 6 months in Costa Rica, and I had to speak Spanish there, you know. But I haven't spoke it for about 6 months.
It's different than Spanish in Spain. It's different.
The accent again is very different, you know.
Yeah.
One of my friends in Costa Rica was doing a Spanish accent, and it was really funny because it's so different to his accent, you know.
Yes, yes. Wow.
So you speak English and Romanian, obviously,
and Persian.
And Persian. What's Persian? Is that like Farsi? Same as Farsi, is it?
Yeah, Farsi.
Exactly. How
In
do you know
English,
that
they
language?
say Persian. Well, my husband is Iranian, but he didn't teach me. He didn't teach me.
So,
I thought.
How did you learn then?
I learned it by myself.
Really?
Through listening, I can say. Oh, I never had a teacher or books or something. No.
Really?
But I can speak everyday language very well, with idioms and all the things. Yeah.
Wow. How long have you been?
Uh,
How long have you been using that?
20 years.
Wow. Well, you should be fluent then, I would imagine, no?
Well, to be honest, I lived there in Tehran 2 times 2 years.
All right.
Yeah, but I didn't go there for 10 years. And here I don't
Uh-huh.
speak too much. I speak more on the internet because my husband is busy and we can exchange few words at night. And I cannot say I use so much vocabulary or, you know. But
Uh-huh.
I still
Uh-huh.
remember, or I know, we watch different shows or something. My daughter likes them. So
Do
I
you
am
speak
still in
Romanian at
touch with
all?
it. Yes, yes,
I
yes.
see you
Oh,
online all the time, and you're always speaking English. So I thought, are you going to be speaking Romanian at all?
no, I had lives even in Farsi, but not in Romanian, which cool. I don't have too many Romanian followers, unfortunately.
Why not? You should try that as
Um,
well, right?
I don't know. They don't know me, I think.
Yeah, I guess not. Is it a sought after language, Romanian? Because I don't know too much about it. As I said, I only knew it from working there for a few times. Is it well sought after?
So many people think that being in Southeast Europe, I speak
Mm.
Russian. I don't. I don't know Russian at all. I don't know. I mean, uh, yesterday I had a guest from Ukraine, and I found out that Ukrainian with Russian are different. Oh, I didn't know that.
Ah, uh-huh.
But I don't speak any Slavic language. No,
Really, no?
I,
Not
I
even
can
Bulgaria.
read. I can read, but no.
When I lived in Bulgaria, it was a really culture shock for me there. I lived there for a while, and the nothing is in English. Well, there was very little in English, and obviously the letters are different to the Latin letters, and I would look at
Yeah.
the word restaurant, and I would start reading it as in English. It would be like pectopla. Oh, goodness, it was great.
Yeah, yeah, because kids are, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
So that was a culture shock for me. And actually, I remember when I first went to Bulgaria, it was I lived up in Bansko in the mountains, and the ski resorts, and I remember going to a restaurant, and it was quite quiet. It was out of season, and I said to the waitress, I was looking at the menu and I couldn't read it, so I said, "Do you have any chicken?" And she went like this. I went, "Okay, no chicken. Okay, do you have any fish?" And she went, "Oh God, do you have any beef?" I didn't
Oh
realize
my
this
God.
meant yes.
Oh gosh.
It was
And
such a culture shock,
what did you eat after all?
I think I had salad and a tomato, I think.
No fish, no chicken, no beef. Salad. Oh
But she
my
was doing
God.
this with a big smile on her face, and I thought, why are you smiling if you don't have anything? But this means yes, obviously, So,
Wow. Yeah,
so it was good fun out there,
yes, you think that you can manage with English everywhere, but well, there are some places you can't.
It was such a shock for me, right?
Wow. What about Thailand? Do you speak the language?
It's very difficult. I live in Bangkok, and at first I started knowing little phrases like you have to at the end of every phrase, if you're a man, you say crap, which is a kind of polite way to end a sentence. And I didn't know too much, but then I started picking up little vocabulary from my students, and
Wow.
because it's a tonal language,
Yeah,
um,
what kind of language is that actually?
um, it's a very, very
How
old
to
language,
describe it?
Well, for example, the word cow can mean rice, like common guy, which means chicken and rice. But if you say cow differently, like cow, I think that means rice. But if you say cow, that means white, I think, or it can mean news or something like this, you know. So.
Oh my God! So it would have so many vocals, right?
It has. I think it has about 6 different kind of levels, you know. Cow, 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 cow. Ba 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 ba. You know.
The tonality goes up and down. Wow.
It goes up and down. Most of them are you know, they know the context, so it's quite. But you have to speak in a Thai accent to someone who doesn't know English. So, for example, if I'm in a taxi and I go to the shopping mall, it's called Central, and if I say "Buy Central," like go to Central, the taxi driver just looks at me and goes, "What?" So I have to say it in a Thai accent, you know, "Buy Centan." All right, okay, and we go, you know.
Wow.
It's really funny, you know.
I don't know if I could learn that language.
Well, actually, the vocabulary is really easy, but it's all the structures that can be quite difficult, you know. For example, the word aeroplane. Obviously, I work in aviation. Don't know why I'm flying there, but I work in aviation, and the word for aeroplane is kruenbean, and if you translate it, kruen means machine, and bean means to fly. So translated, it means flying machine, you know? Yeah, it's really easy, you know, when you think about it, you know, like sock, the word for sock is tong tao, and it means foot bag or foot sack or something like that. So it's quite easy, the vocabulary, you know? But yeah, it's the grammar as well is quite easy in Thai. We don't, you know, we just put the word yak to mean the future tense. And for the past tense, most of the time you just say lao at the end, you know, by lao, I went.
Oh, so the grammar is easier than
the grammar's so easy, you know. And I think this is why the students find it really difficult with English grammar, you know, with articles especially. My goodness, articles is so difficult for... it's not as bad as Romanian got the masculine and feminine articles as well, have they?
Yes, yes, yes. Yes, all the languages, we have a difficult grammar, Spanish to French. Oh, French is, yeah, the grammar is difficult for foreigners, right?
I learned French. French was my favorite subject at school, and I love speaking. Me and my friends would just have these we were a bit of nerds, you know, at school with French, you know, we would have these conversations in French, you know. And I remember the first time I went to Paris, and I was standing on the banks of the river, waiting on the boat, and I hadn't spoken French for about 10 years, maybe longer. So I was a bit rusty, and this woman came to me and she said in French, does the boat stop here? And immediately I replied to her, and it was the biggest thrill I've ever had in my life, you know. I could understand a native.
Yeah.
I've never forgotten it, you know.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
But it's really good. Well, I think when you don't speak a language for a while, it's like anything else. It takes a long time to get back. Well, for me anyway, it takes a while to get back.
Yes, but if you know it, it is dived down there in your brain.
Somewhere.
Yes. So you just need a little short time to find it.
Yeah. Yeah, wherever it is.
Yeah. That's cool.
I went to Paris about 2 years ago, I think it was, a year and a half ago maybe. And again, I was really rusty. But after a day, I started understanding them again. And that was a big thrill again, you know, to understand, you know. But I'm really, when it comes to my languages, I guess I'm quite lazy, I'm sorry to say.
But you know, you know so many things. Yeah. You know so many things. Yeah. And you have seen so many things. Yeah. So many countries.
Well, yeah, there's always more to see, I guess, you know.
Of course.
My most favorite. Have you traveled at all, Emma?
Not so much, unfortunately. No.
Just
Egypt,
around.
Egypt.
Oh, Egypt.
I never. Yeah, I've been in Egypt twice. I loved it.
Wow. How is Egypt? I've never been.
Oh my God, it's wonderful. And I had the chance to be there for. I mean, I was there twice. The first time 2 weeks, and the second time for 5 weeks. And the
Wow.
second
Five
time I
weeks.
could. Yeah, I had. We had a family friend there, and he took us
Uh-huh.
everywhere. Me and my daughter.
Uh-huh.
It was the best time of my life.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm
Where were you?
fast. Well, I
In
was
Fez.
almost everywhere except
Mm-hmm.
on the Valley of Kings, because that time there were terrorist attacks, against foreigners, and we couldn't go.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was to Canal Suez. I mean, from one side to another one. One side is Port
Wow.
Said, and the other one is the city of Suez. Yeah, it
Uh-huh.
was. I mean, the Mediterranean. Yeah, and
Mm.
Cairo, in Giza, there are two cities separated by the Nile. Oh,
Beautiful. Beautiful,
it's
is it?
wonderful. You know,
Is it
yeah,
really? Yeah.
yes.
Cairo. Is Cairo apparently Cairo's very busy, is it? I take it.
Oh my God, it's so crowded.
Is
Whew.
it?
It's really, really. Um, well, I lived in Tehran. It wasn't such a big surprise for me because even Tehran is same. I mean,
Is
really
it?
crowded. So many
Uh-huh.
cars, so many people. But
Mm-hmm.
still, I don't know. They don't respect the rules, of course. When you cross the street, you do it on your own
At
risk.
your own risk. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's quite, but it's nice. It's history. It's history, I can say. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Not the
Absolutely. I can
pyramid.
imagine.
I see the pyramid. I could see the pyramid and the
Apparently the pyramids are
museum.
quite small. Is that correct? The pyramids are
Um,
quite
Not
small.
not small. Well, I want to tell you that kind of measured myself, and one of those blocks was almost
Uh-huh.
my height, and I am
Really?
172. Yeah, almost
Wow.
my height, and it's really. I mean, when you look at them and you think that about 3,000 years ago,
Uh-huh.
they built it. How? Because there was no cement or something, and to put it like
Amazing.
this, architectural, yes. And those
Yeah.
big blocks that now you use cranes, okay, to move them from a place to another, but how? It's, and in the
They've never.
museum, believe me, I think, forgive me, I've seen so many unbelievable things. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
to make, for example, like the pharaohs. I can't say necklace, something like that, but they had perfect holes. How the
Uh-huh.
hell did they do it? That
Uh-huh.
time, I don't
Mm.
know. It's so many unbelievable, or statues so big. Oh my God, I was looking at that. How?
Wow.
It's
Amazing.
impressive. Yes, Egypt is impressive.
Yeah.
I
One of
would go
my
there
uncle,
anytime.
my uncle with that was his favorite destination, Egypt,
You
He
should
swore
go.
by it. He said it's the most amazing place that he's ever been. But
Yeah,
unfortunately I've never been there.
I was fascinated by Egyptology, let's say, since I was a kid, and I wanted so much
Uh-huh.
to see. I even have a medallion, golden medallion, with my
Uh-huh.
name on it in hieroglyphs. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
special
Wow.
order because I wanted to have this memory. It's nice. Yeah,
Fantastic.
so many things
Fantastic.
to see. Yeah.
Mm. I went to
Uh,
I went I went to Machu Picchu 2 years ago, and that's the
wow,
same. They built all this
like pyramid.
city, small village, yeah, and 5,000, 4,000 meters up. It's like, how did they
Yeah.
do that? Unbelievable.
Really, it's not. I mean, it's still a mystery until now. There
Yeah,
are
yeah.
suppositions, okay, with slaves, and I don't know how, but it's still, I don't know.
Amazing. The wonders of the world are just amazing, aren't they?
Yes, and I had the chance to see Tutankhamun, if you know it,
All
the
right, yeah.
pharaoh, the most famous,
Uh-huh.
let's say, the time
Uh-huh.
when it was exposed there on the ground floor. And
Mm-hmm.
I was amazed because his wife was there too, and she had
Mm-hmm.
hair, red hair, red hair
Really?
with, yeah, with, if you know henna, there is a paint from plants, something like that.
All
Yeah,
right,
and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
after all these years, it was amazing.
Wow. The hair's
Yeah.
still there.
Yes, yes, yes. Her
Wow.
hair was there. Yes, and it was red, as I told. I was
Amazing,
impressed.
no?
Yeah,
Absolutely
and there
amazing.
was, yes, to the second floor, there was a room full of mummies. But I couldn't go, unfortunately, because I couldn't let my daughter, and I couldn't take her with me. She was too young, and
Too young to go up, yeah.
yes,
May-
even there,
Maybe,
she didn't see the
mm,
mom, so I
maybe
couldn't
next
let
time
her.
for you, know?
I hope so.
May-
I'd like to go back. I'd like to go back there. Of course, in
Uh-huh.
so many places. There's so many places
Absolutely.
to visit.
I really fancy going, my next trip, I really fancy going to India. I think India just holds something for me, you know?
Oh my
I think it
God,
would be
India.
amazing to go.
Yeah, it's so big and so many religions, so many languages. Yeah,
Yeah,
has to be.
fascinating, you know?
Yeah, some says I'm from India. Yeah,
Well, there's,
so many.
all right.
Yeah.
I know I've actually been, I'm fairly new to Instagram. I think I told you, you know, and I'm absolutely amazed at the amount of people in the Middle East, Iran especially, that are looking to learn English. Amazed at the
Yes.
amount, and it's got me fascinated about Iran, you know. And so I was looking on the internet all about it, you know, and
Okay.
it's totally different to what my or to what I've heard, if you like, you know, when you look into it, you know, it's so
Yes.
different,
Because
amazing.
of media,
Yeah,
uh, spreads that negative, I don't
yeah.
know, advertising, let's say, about Iran, and it's not true.
I know.
Yeah,
I was looking at people's blogs and stuff. They've been to India, to Iran, and they were all saying it was the most wonderful place they've ever been. They felt so safe. They felt, you know,
I lived
unbelievable. And
there. Believe me, I couldn't
yeah,
live
yeah,
there if
yeah,
I
yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
safe. It took 4 years. It's not a week. And I went there, for
yeah.
example, a few times, summertime for 1 month when I could, yes. But so nothing
Mm,
happened. I even have my passport, and I go there sometimes. I mean, many times I was just with my daughters, and there
mm-hmm.
was no problem. And everybody was so, I don't know, kind and wanted to help, and they like to speak with foreigners, and
Yeah,
oh, it's great.
yeah.
Now so many people want to learn English because of course they want to see the world, to have connection, to communicate, but also to immigrate. That's the
Yeah,
problem.
yeah,
Yeah, and they need
yeah.
IELTS. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. I remember I lived, here's another thing. I lived in China for a while, for about six
There
months,
too.
and
Come on.
I know, I know, I know. I
I
sound
hate
like a
you.
gypsy. You know? God. You know something? Here in Thailand, 10 years is the longest I've been in one place.
Yes,
Amazing.
yes, yeah.
But I remember I lived in the northeast of China, and from my bedroom window, I could see North Korea right on the Yalu River, you know. And
Oh,
I walked through the city, and it was a small city by Chinese standards. There was maybe like 3 million people there or something crazy. And I think I was the only foreign. Well, there was a few foreigners there, but I was walking down the street, and people would stop and speak to me, you know. And I'm absolutely amazed at that, you know. So I
Do
took
they
my
speak
mum there,
English?
and they tried to speak English. Yeah, they would just say hello, hi, you know, where are you from? You know.
Wow, with that accent, like this voice.
Yeah. I took my mum there. I took my mum and my uncle and my auntie there
Oh.
for a week, and my mum has never been outside Europe. You know, this was about
Mm.
6 years ago, and you know, my mum's walking in. We were in Tiananmen Square, and it was really hot, and my mum's really red because of the heat and everything, and she was really struggling, you know, with the heat, and but she would be sitting down having a drink of water, and people would be coming over and taking selfies with her because she was a foreigner, you know. She felt like a bit of a superstar. So,
A
oh God, I'm
VIP.
sweating.
Wow. She had her moment of glory.
Exactly, you know. I was
Spotlight.
disappointed.
Spotlight.
I never had any photos, you know. I was getting a bit uppity, you know.
You felt ignored, right?
Yeah, I did actually, you know. I did. But yeah, China was good. I liked that, you know. I would like to go
My,
back there, I think, for a while. Mm.
my mom was in Iran too, and oh my God, she didn't like it at all. You know, my mom is
Really?
my
Why
mom,
not?
first of all, is religious, is Christian,
Uh-huh.
Orthodox,
Yeah,
okay, and uh, it was quite difficult for her to be among Muslims
yeah.
and
All right.
to eat rice all the time.
Is that the
And
dish in Iran, is it?
yes, rice
Rice.
with something, yeah.
Is it? All right. All right. Okay. Okay. Uh-huh. Does she not like
Yes.
it then? No? Just eating all that all the time?
No, it's different, you know, for her.
She
And she
misses
lived
potatoes
alone
from
for
Romania.
she lived in Iran for she lived here for many years by herself alone,
Yeah.
and there are so
Uh-huh.
many people, so many kids or noise all the time, and yeah, it was quite difficult for her. Yeah, my God.
Yeah, yeah.
And she said, no, I don't come again. But she was there for 3 months
Wow.
for me and for my daughter. Yeah, and you
Yeah.
have to wear, you know, hijab. I
You have
mean,
to be
they don't go
modestly
outside.
dressed, yeah.
You know, to
Yeah,
have
yeah.
cover your hair, to have your head, and to have a long something. That time, now the fashion
It's not
has
like that
changed.
now, is it? It's not like that in
On the
Iran
street
now.
outside, you have to. On the street, you have
Is
to.
that
But
right? Ah.
in Tehran, they are like this. You know, they put it here. I mean,
Uh-huh.
and they have
All right.
something like, let's say, like this, short. You know,
Just loose cover, yeah.
yeah, and they don't close, for example, no, with something without buttons. Not like before. When
Mm.
I was there the first time in 1996, I had to wear something like a coat, long
Uh-huh.
till my
Really?
ankles.
Wow.
So in time, yeah, in Tehran at least, the fashion, let's say, has changed
Uh,
a lot.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm an interesting
Good, huh?
country there too. I love it and I miss it. Yeah, there are so many
Yeah.
things there. Yeah.
Yeah. It's quite a
But
hard accent, isn't it? The Farsi accent. I've heard.
I've got used to it. I don't know, quite quickly. Yeah.
What I try to encourage people that follow me on Instagram to send me a voice message, you know, with just sentences from my videos. And someone from Iran, I was really surprised, and I said this back to her, I was really surprised at her accent. It was so soft. Because I always imagined the Farsi accent to be really hard accent, you know? Like a German accent for a European, if you like, you know, very hard, you know? But it was
No.
very soft. I was really surprised, you know?
Yeah.
I was really
Okay.
shocked at it.
And to tell you, the first time I was there was about 3 years after my marriage, after I got married, and I could speak. Of course, not so well, but I could manage
Uh-huh.
because there are so many places where you have to be just with women. Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
you cannot be with men, and I couldn't ask my husband come to translate for me. If I didn't
yeah.
know, it would be difficult for me to be just among strangers, among
Yeah.
uh, people I don't know. If I don't know the language only with women, what can I do? You know what I
Mm.
mean? But
Yeah,
especially that their eyes were on me, they
yeah.
expected me to be. I don't know. They were looking for every move. I took
Uh,
everything. Yeah, but I got used to and told you. Now I feel so comfortable to go come. Yeah, it's
it's good.
okay.
The one thing I mean, I've traveled a lot, and since I've came on to IG, I thought I knew a lot about the world, but since I've came on to IG, it's just kind of expanded my mind again for everything. I think the
Yes.
Middle East side of the world is a place that I've never actually ventured. My wife works in Qatar. She works for the airlines in Qatar. So I've been over there, but I've never really, took much notice of that part of the world, really. And since being on IG, I'm finding out new things all the time. It's amazing. It's amazing what this IG's done for me. I love it.
Every place has, I don't know, culture, I don't know, customs, language, so many things. It's interesting
Mm.
that we have the internet and we can find
One
out
thing
exactly.
when I moved to Thailand, one thing I had to get used to. I lived in this on the outskirts of Bangkok when I first came here, and I was the only Falang, which is like the white man or Westerner in the area, and it was on the very last stop of the underground. So I would come out my apartment and walk to the train station. And I always remember there was this old man. He must have been this was about 10 years ago now. He must have been about 80 at the time, and he owned a little shop. But he must have, it must have been about 150 centimeters or so. He was very, very short, and white hair. And every time I walked past him, he used to give me this huge smile, and he wanted to speak to me, but he didn't speak English and I didn't speak Thai. And I knew a couple of words in Thai, and I'd walk past him every morning, and he'd say to me, "Bye nai," which means "Where are you going?" And I always thought, well, why are you asking me this? And every day I knew the word work, Tamngan, so I would say, "Bye Tamngan, I'm going to work," and he'd just start laughing. And it wasn't until about a year later that I realized when people say "Bye nai," it means "How are you?" you know. So I was always thinking, he's asking me where I'm going. What's he doing?
To work with how are you are kind of somehow the same or what?
No, no, no. Bainai means in Thai means where are you going, but it also means how are you doing at the same time. It means
Oh,
two things.
no.
It's like a greeting. So I was always
Yeah.
always said I'm going by Tesco. I'd go to the supermarket, but I didn't know why he was saying this. He was just asking me how are you. Another thing in Thailand is they always ask you Gin Khao Ru Yang, which means have you eaten yet? And I don't know, if somebody asks you this all the time, you think, why are you asking me? But it's just a polite kind of conversation
Oh,
starter.
in Iran it's like that, believe me. Oh
Is
my
it the
God.
same, is it?
If you go to somebody's home, they insist so much on you to
Mm.
eat. And you say, thank you, I cannot. Please, please taste. Please. I don't know, oh my God. And if the first time it was a cultural shock, I can tell you. Everything was so
Yeah,
different, another world, and till I understood what was going on, what they mean. Oh, it
yeah.
took some time, yeah. About the words that you say. In my language, okay, we say
Mm.
chefach for,
Chipach.
yes, we say even for how are you, but also, but what are you doing, you know?
Oh, same thing, yeah.
Yeah,
In fact,
yeah.
none of your
The
business, you
touch.
know.
Yeah. So
Very
you see, every
confusing, you
language
know.
has, yes, its own particularities. Yeah.
That's it, exactly. That's it,
Oh,
exactly.
so
I'm
hot
actually
here.
teaching my students. Uh-huh.
So hot here. I am keep moving in because my chair is, I don't know, kind of leather. And yeah, forgive me,
I'm
please.
driving home tonight at 9 o'clock, and it's 36 degrees here. You know, it's
Oh,
crazy. You know,
I
but I
think
left my
here,
house this afternoon, and I've realised the air conditioning's been on all day, so it's been a bit of a blessing when I come in.
mm, I think it's
Not.
humid there, right?
Oh my goodness! I remember one of the first month that I was here. I came here in the May, so it was very humid. And in Scotland or in Spain, I walk everywhere. You know, I love walking. And I was wondering why there's 250,000 taxis in Bangkok. 250,000.
Wow.
There's more taxis than anything, you know. And why is there
Mm.
so many taxis? And I learned very quickly that nobody likes to walk outside. You know, you walk 100 meters, and it's like you've been in the
Yeah.
rain. You know, bad
Wow.
hair day.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So only in
Obviously with
summer,
that.
only in summertime or in winter too?
Well, normally in the winter, in the first couple of years I was here, I would go back to Scotland for Christmas. I'd go back at the beginning of December for a month or 6 weeks or so, see my mum and dad. And there was the first time that I stayed here in December. Oh, my goodness, the temperatures dropped. I had to wear a long sleeve shirt, you know. It was the
Oh,
temperature dropped down to like 27 degrees. I got a bit of a shock, you know. It was quite cold.
cold 27?
I tell you what, you can feel it, you know.
Mm,
Everyone's on Facebook. My
different.
God, it's 27 degrees. Can you believe it? It's so cold. Oh my God. In Scotland, if it goes above 15 degrees, it's on the national news. We're having a heat wave, you know.
So how cold is
Yeah.
it in Scotland in winter?
In winter, it can get it can get quite cold. But the worst thing about the weather in Scotland, Emma, is the rain, because it's an island. It's part of the British Isles. It's
So
constantly. Oh, have you gone? You still there?
I don't know what happened.
That's all right.
Here.
That's all
Please
right.
go on. Go
No,
ahead.
I was just saying in Scotland, it rains constantly. You know, there's I think for about 3 days in summer it doesn't rain. So this is when everyone's got their short sleeves
Oh,
on. You know,
that's
but
bad.
this is why it's so
Oh my God.
beautiful and green. You know,
Yes, yes, in green. It was
but
difficult for you to change from that climate to this climate.
well, I tell you what was really bad when I moved to Andalusia in the south of Spain. During like July and August, especially August, it gets really hot. And it's not, the temperature's maybe about 35, 34 degrees, maybe a bit more. But here in Thailand, if it's 34 degrees, it's really humid. But in Spain, it's like you're in an oven, you know. It's scorching hot, you know. And I miss that, actually, to be honest. I miss that
Oh,
kind of heat, you know.
well, when I was at the pyramid, there were maybe 50, believe me, because it was summertime and it's a
50.
desert. Wow. Yeah. And the
My
next
God.
day, my ankles were like that. My ankles. I mean, double. I don't know how to
They
explain.
swell
They
up,
were
yeah.
double.
Yeah.
Yes, because
My
I
God.
wasn't
My
used
goodness.
to that temperature, maybe 50 degrees, and we spent some time there. Okay, so it was, oh, my
That's
tongue
unhealthy,
was
I think, you know.
thick. Yeah, yeah. And it was our mistake too, because my daughter insisted to bring Schweppes. and Tret has soda, and that was worse, you know. I mean, maybe that's why we didn't
Absolutely.
drink water, but that, yeah. So here,
This,
yeah, I know in Iran there are also some cities where it's really, really hot. Yeah, and of
yeah.
course Egypt.
Well, my wife's in
I,
Qatar, and I see the temperature on my phone. You know, and in the summer it's like 45 degrees. Oh my God, 45.
terrible, terrible. I
Oh
think you
God,
can
it's
live even in Canada without problems because you are
I've
used
seen
to.
somebody there that says it's like 45 degrees and it's like an oven. I can imagine,
Yeah.
you know.
Oh
So I can
God.
imagine. So how did you get involved in teaching English?
Well, I can say that
Mm.
I loved English. I love it
Uh-huh.
since I was in kindergarten. I was,
Really?
yeah. And if you know that our country was a communist one, so
Yeah.
we didn't have materials. I mean, it was really difficult till after so-called revolution,
Yeah.
when I was old enough, I mean. And I went to university for 2 years to study English after economics, because I studied first accounting and
Oh,
then
all right. Yeah, really. So you were
yeah,
in finance as well, huh? That's what I did that.
accounting.
Yeah.
But I didn't work in this field so much. Yeah,
Why
because
did you choose
later
accounting?
I liked it. I don't know. I
Yeah.
liked it more than
Numbers make the world
something
go
else.
round, don't they?
Yeah, and you know, if I tell someone that I hate math, I hate it anyway. And
Really?
actually, accounting it's also, I mean, working with numbers. So I don't
Mm.
know. I didn't
Mm.
like math in school, but I ended up
But you chose
being an
accounting.
accountant. Yes, and I liked
Oh,
it.
so you,
Yes.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
So you were an accountant, right?
later I was. Later we had our business, and I didn't practice. I mean, this stuff. And for about 5 years, mm, I started like that. It's one of my friends told me, come and teach my child. Okay. I said, okay, why not? Because I love kids a lot, and
Uh-huh.
I, I think they keep you sharp, and it is a
Of
challenge
course.
to teach them. I
Uh-huh.
mean, it's more difficult than teaching adults.
Of
So
course.
this is the way I started, and started teaching them online or part-time because I had another job. But this year,
Mm-hmm.
that's no more. I would do it full-time. So I teach
So it's only
online
been this
full-time.
year.
Full-time. I did it for
Full time
five
this year,
years.
yeah?
Yes, for
Mm-hmm.
5 years, but part-time. I mean, only in the evening because I was working in another place. Now I teach sometimes in the morning, sometimes in the evening. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
depends on my students, where they are, when they have time, and yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. I love it. I love it because, I don't know, English is my passion.
What's the best thing about teaching English for you as a non-native speaker? What's the best thing about teaching
Challenge, the
English for you?
challenge, the challenge to adapt yourself to every student, because each
Uh-huh.
one of them is different, different
Uh-huh.
levels, different backgrounds. Okay, some of them want just to for conversational purposes, or they want for an exam, or they want uh, traveling for traveling.
Yeah.
Some of them they want just to speak. Others they want to work with a book and grammar.
Mm-hmm.
So each one of them is different. And to meet so many people from different countries, I think it's really
Uh-huh.
interesting. They tell me about their countries, their customs. They show me their city, their houses. Yeah, it's really nice. It's really nice. I love it. Yeah,
Fantastic. Yeah.
yeah.
What's the most challenging thing for a non-native speaker to teach English? What's the most challenging thing for you?
Hmm. Explaining grammar. I think, yeah. Yeah, sometimes, yeah, it's difficult. Sometimes maybe like I don't find the right explanation, and it's difficult enough. And so that's why I prefer to use examples than say, I know this should be present perfect. Let's say have plus past participle, blah 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 blah, and when you use it like, and I prefer to show examples and then to explain. Because
Yeah.
if I explain theory, no, I don't think it. So I think
Practice is
that,
always better than theory, isn't it?
yes, exactly. Exactly. Even in my book, I try to put main examples and tell them, I mean, they should learn in context everything, vocab and grammar, and this in context.
Absolutely. I can imagine, though, it's sometimes difficult for learners when they don't have access to native speakers to learn in context at times, you know. I find that, you know, I think I was speaking to someone and saying, you know, that they only practice, excuse me, they only practice when they come to class. And I think you need to start, you know,
exactly.
putting
You
into
know,
practice what you're learning, you know.
Exactly. I post every week. I have decided to post every week about finding a speaking partner, because there are so many people from my friends, okay, even Iranian friends or people I know, maybe they are good in writing, but their weakness is speaking. Because they say, I don't have anyone to speak with.
To speak to. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. But there's so many, I think, one of my favorite kind of sayings is, when you're learning a language, it's like exercising your language when you're learning English, you know. It's like when you go to the gym, I was saying that to someone recently, when you go to the gym, you have to go continuously to feel the benefits.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. You cannot get muscles in one day or one month, like some teachers say you can be fluent in 2 months.
If anyone says that you can be fluent in 1 month or 2 months or even 3 months, I think that they're going to be misleading, you know. It takes a lot of time and practice, you know, a lot of time and practice, you know.
Of course, of course. You know, when I started to learn, it was British, and then I had friends in the States, and I changed my accent.
You changed your accent?
But believe me, without I understand. Yes. And I'm sorry, because I know, I like more British. But you see, I can understand you very well.
You can.
Yes.
Well, you've got a Ruttic accent. You've got the R accent as well, haven't you? With the Romanian, you kind of use your R quite a lot, do you not? Whereas the English accent itself is very, very flat.
I don't know. I have practiced a lot, let's say, and I still do it, you know, because I think learning never ends. So I'm a teacher, but also a learner. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. Not even you.
I like to think I am.
I'm kidding. I mean, native speakers. Okay, you cannot say they are perfect. And so people, I know. So I get so many messages. Okay, I want to be fluent. I want to be perfect. I want to. I mean, only superlative. Okay, so first of all, what do you do, okay, to get there? Okay, and about, you know, to be perfect, even fluent, it's a high target, really high target. Okay, go with baby steps and try to practice and advance every day more and more. They are beginners and they want to be perfect. Come on, it took me years, so many years of studying and practicing, and I would never say not that perfect. I would say that I'm good. Okay, what to say? Come on, yeah.
I love to play the guitar, and I've been playing the guitar since I was 16. But
No.
I'm never perfect at the, you know. I pick it up and I go, oh God, I can't do it. You know, I can't do it. But because I don't practice enough on it, that's why. It's the same with the language, I guess. You know. What do you suggest to students? I mean, I get all this. Why? What can I do to practice? I don't have a native speaker. What do you say to students?
Oh my
How can they
God.
practice speaking?
Well, I told you I post every week, and I encourage them. I try to motivate them to speak to each other. Okay, to find speaking partners, not just one, two, three, because people are busy and maybe they cannot do it on a regular basis. So
Mm-hmm.
I try to encourage them. Yeah, they have to speak, and there are also apps, okay, where if they want native speakers, they can find. I don't know how many people and how many native speakers would stay in Instagram and speak with people. I don't know. But there are apps like Hello Talk and Tandem. People, native speakers that want to learn different languages, and they can help with English.
Yeah.
So I try to tell them this and to keep the conversation alive and not to give short answers, and to teach the other one, okay, something that makes them feel satisfied. Yeah. They can if they want. I didn't have internet. I didn't have computer. I didn't have, you know, and I studied with my dictionary, phonetics, and so now they
I think.
have everything.
Yeah, exactly. Everything. It's not like when we were young. We only had like a little notebook, you know.
Yes,
For now,
exactly,
yeah.
exactly. When I had dictionary like that, and I used to literally to lick it like this, and I learned phonetics, okay, and to see what is this word. I didn't have anyone to practice with. We didn't have too many movies on TV. I mean,
Yeah.
quite difficult in communist time, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
if they want, if they say they can't, it's an excuse.
I
I
think.
don't believe.
Yeah. One thing I always say to students is find a book. I mean, it's something I think I mentioned before. It's some when I was learning Spanish, I would get the newspaper and I would read. I would speak when I read for like 15 minutes, you know, and I would just, you know, I'm okay, da, 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 and I would start speaking the news. I didn't know the vocabulary, you know, but you know, it gave me so much confidence after a few weeks of doing this every day. And then I started listening to the television, and I would understand individual words from doing that, you know. And then it got to the point I could pick up the telephone and speak on the telephone, you know. Another good thing as well is, I know it's people say, how can I do to practice? And one thing as well is to write conversations or dialogues, is to write them down, you know, maybe in the supermarket
Yes.
or in the bank or somewhere. But write conversations. What would people say? What would you say back? How would the conversation go? And then just keep practicing speaking the two-way conversation, especially if you don't have like a native speaker to listen to, I guess, you know.
Yeah, our
That is,
time is over, just 30 seconds. I really, really want to thank you. I had a blast. It was awesome.
thanks, Emma. Nice to meet you, you
If
know.
you have time, please, let's do it again, okay?
Absolutely. I would love to. I would love to, Emma. I
Thank
would
you
love
very
to.
much. Have a
Nice
good
to meet
night.
you, okay? You too.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
You too.
Bye for now. Bye for now. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.